Hello and welcome to the Tarkis Zone. Thank you for joining me. Well, we're going to be doing another New World video. This is going to be my second video in my series of New World content. My second video around gameplay and actually being in the game. All my previous videos were things I did like a year ago, speculation videos. This video today, we're going to be talking about how I got to 60 so fast. So people have been asking me, oh, how'd you do it? What kind of grind did you do? This is such a slog fest. And to be honest with you, I didn't do much effort at all, and I was 60. Now, they've tweaked the game with a couple patches since I hit 60, but I don't think it affects what I'm about to tell you. So let's get into the game. All right, let's get into the game. Hit the continue button. All right, hit the continue. There I am. I got the skins, the Halloween skins, because everybody knows I'm into Halloween, so I had to have the Halloween skins. And I might actually show you my house before we end this video, and you'll see all the decorations I have in my house. New World has been out, I think, more than a month now. They're saying that people are jumping ship like rats on a sinking ship kind of thing. People have not enjoyed the game as much as they thought they were going to enjoy it. It's $40, guys. Just like Guild Wars. It was, you paid whatever Guild Wars 2 was. I think that was $30, and you played it until, okay, it's no longer fun to me, or I'm not into this, and that's fine. You spent $40. Considered it a standalone game. And if, as long as you had some sort of fun and you put some sort of effort into it, after a month of playing a game for $40, you got your money's worth. Now, for me, I enjoyed the game, even with all the bugs that they have reported and the gold duping and all this other stuff that is client-based, which should have never been client-based on your computer. And what that means is their servers are out here in server land, and your computer in your house is here. And they're keeping much of the data that is around your character and things tied to your character on your computer. So the server's talking to that file. But when you make a client-based system, you can find ways to bug out that file or that comparison check. And what happens is, in most games, they have what they call oh geez, what did they call that? My mind's going blank. It's like a cheat program. And the cheat program, or an anti-cheat program, what that does is it communicates between the two platforms and makes sure that this file priority becomes identical to this file. And if this file has been changed in any way before the handshake, the anti-cheat says, no, you've manipulated your client file, and we're not going to allow that to happen. And most anti-cheats will then kick this computer right off the server. And a lot of times the anti-cheats will will swap the file, taking the permanent file on the server end and rewriting the one they changed, and then kicking them. And then, depending on the anti-cheat would say, you've been banned for 24 hours because you were cheating. If you don't think you were cheating, put a petition in. Now, that anti-cheat systems have worked very well in many video games that I've played where the data was client-side. So I think New World just needs to figure that out. People left New World for that reason alone, saying that any video game today that has client-side information that's an MMO or something that you need to grind to get to is not worth playing, because there's just so much risk of sabotage to the game. And New World has shown that they didn't think that through when they decided to do the client-based thing, because there are people that have taken advantage of those client-based files and changed them in ways that they were able to do things in the game that the game people didn't want them to be able to go. Duping gold, I'm not going to get into how you do it, but it's part of that client file system. And the permanent way that you won't take any damage. You can, I've seen the guy change his file to the point where he's running around naked and he's like invulnerable. You can't kill him. Those are the two that I have personally seen happen, people doing them around me and in all the various Discord channels that I go to drop through. That's where I've heard people confirm that these things can happen. So a lot of people got wind of it and they left. It wasn't that they didn't really hate the game. They just were like, well, this is just going to be crazy until they figure this out. This is not worth playing. So people have left the game, for various reasons. The game developer needs to figure out some sort of anti-cheat or some sort of way to make sure that that handshake is checked and balanced. Because if it isn't, I remember back in the Diablo game days. Remember Diablo 2? That was client based, and I could change all. I mean, I even went in back then as a hacker and changed all my ability. I had like 1 billion hit points, and I was just raping dungeons. And it was like, come on. I mean, as soon as you put something on someone's computer, there's going to be somebody who can figure out how to break into it to do what they want in the game. And in a game like this, it's an MMO. It's supposed to take you months to get gold in an MMO, not large amounts of gold, not just duping gold all day or just doing stuff around the intention of the game. And I've been told, or not told, but read in multiple forums that people are going to get banned for this nonsense. But how do you really do that? How do you really prove that they did what they're being accused of doing? Because anybody could say, well, it's a lag issue. I mean, make all sorts of credible excuses. And then what you're going to do is your player base that is now shrinking, you're going to sour that player base when you start banning people. And some people I know have gotten banned just because people are jerks. That basically you had 1,000, people report you, and it was because there was a guild that decided, yeah, it wouldn't be funny to mass report people so that they get banned off the server. So this game can be frustrating at times because I've seen that happen. Someone getting a ban, and it's because some group of guys didn't like them, or they decided they were reporting that person. And one of the people in Discord told me that they were in a war and people were reporting people and they're getting pulled out of a war, being banned out of a war because of mass reports. Like the game decided, you've just been reported 100 times, whatever it is, and that person just gets kicked from the server while they're in the middle of a war. So it's just these kinds of things I'm hoping they'll fix. But let's get to the point of the video. I did want to talk about what I just talked about a little bit because I know there's a lot of people that have given up on the game, and if you have, you might want to try coming back once they figured out some of this stuff. So basically, what I ended up doing, let's go to my M command here and go to territory standings. You'll see that my territory standings is 72 in Everfall, and I got 20 in Windsward. And then really I've got no standing really in any place else. And you're going to ask yourself, you're 60th level and you never really left these two maps. Basically, Everfall and Windsward, basically I didn't leave these two maps. I'm 60th level. I didn't really do any of the questing, not the questing where you run around and get quests from people and going to do the questing. I didn't go into areas and grind mobs for hours. Didn't do any of that. What I did do is use this town board. And what it is the game is going to put you through when I say I didn't do any of the questing, let me rephrase that. I did the questing through the main storyline up to about 17th, 18th level. That I did do. But that was a matter of a couple hours. I mean, within a couple hours, I had done the storyline quest up to the point where I was comfortable, I could get my staff. I was around 18th level. Then what I did, go back to the M, I went down to here, and it's not as busy now, but there's a dungeon here. Amrime, maybe I butchered that name. Yeah, okay. So basically, I got a quest in there from Barkamedes, and he's a dog outside the instance, and you can do it over and over and over again if you want. But this is the dungeon here. When I got about 18th level, I just stood on a rock here. I went healer just because it makes it easier to get in groups. So you might want to think about becoming a healer. Get your healing staff up, put some points in the focus, and go stand on this rock and just say, I'm a healer. Now you'll get runs all day long as a healer. I mean, maybe a tank too. But that's what I ended up doing, was just saying, I'm going to start off healer because everybody needs a healer. Went down there, stood on this rock, and every once in a while I'd say healer, looking for group. And then we go into the dungeon. Now the dungeons are, you got to use an item to actually open a dungeon door. In this case, the main storyline, the first dungeon, they give you the orb. So you got all these low-level characters being filtered to this dungeon all day long. So there's groups going in all day long. So what I ended up doing is just saying, hey, I'm a healer. You need me. So I'd run the dungeon, and it got down to the point where we could do the dungeon in less than 15 minutes. Just less than 15 minutes. We got it down to farm, people going in and out, people knowing the pulls. So it became a point where in one day I did the dungeon about 13 times. So I also leveled from 18th level to about 22 level or 23rd level during those times that I ran through that dungeon. But by the time I was done running that many times, and you could run it over a couple of days if that's what you want to do, I had all this loot that I was able to put on the auction house. And then I sold it all. I just sold it all. And then I got about 5,000 gold for all the stuff. And then the Barkamedes quest itself gives you like 13 gold just from the Barkamedes quest. And things inside the dungeon are dropping 5 gold here, 2 gold here. And then anything that you find in there that might be worthwhile, you sell it on the auction house. So I ran it about 13 times, guys, and I got a bunch of gold. And so what I ended up doing was just going to these town boards here in Everfall, and getting rid of the quest. You can just click on it and hit abandon. Yep. And it's going to give you, if you haven't been to the border in a while, it'll give you a quest right off the bat, and it just replaced it with another weaponsmithing. Now, if you decide you want to do these weaponsmithing ones, go ahead. This is what, don't want to abandon that. These are the ones that you're looking for. These hand in, acquire and deliver 90 linen. So what I did was, and I still do, I go down to the auction house and I buy 90 linen. Come here, I hand it in. That gives me 5 gold and 750 territory standing and 1,300 XP. Now, you're not going to make money doing this because what's going to cost you to buy those 90 linen is a lot more than the 5 gold. But you've already banked all that gold for this purpose. So this one here, you don't want explorer missions. And a lot of times you're going to get an explorer mission here and here automatically. And what I do is when I do take them, I hit the map and I see if they're like within, if there's that explorer mission from that board can be here and it can be here. So if it ends up being one of these two, I don't mind doing it, running quickly 2 minutes and getting it done. But here it's not. I'm going to get rid of it, abandon it. Weaponsmithing, I'm going to abandon it. They want me to hunt boars. Nope, I don't want to hunt boars. I just want to hand shit in. And like weavers need. Okay, 25 silk right here. So I'd go down to the auction house here in Everfall and buy the 25 silk. And this one gives you 4,000 XP, 500 territory standing. And again, you're not making money here because the items are going to cost you more than. So I'm just abandoning this. I'm going to take this. I'm going to change that. I'm going to hit the map. Oh, see right there. That is that quest that I just picked up off the board. So when in between doing the board, I would just run over here 2 minutes and hand that quest in. And what's nice is here, this one here, I mean, literally, it's just running up the hill, grabbing something out of a box. Don't even fight anything. Just run up to the box, grab it, and jump off the ledge, and you got it done. That one's simple. And that is like a 5-minute quest, maybe 6 tops if you do it slowly. That one gives you 4 gold, so you're going to make money. You're going to get 500 standing, and you're going to get 580 XP. So you'd keep that one, and you would do that one. Here's oil needed. Here's mana potion needed. This is these cooking ones. Now, if you've got cooking and you've got weaponsmithing and you've got the items, then do it. Because you get a lot of points towards armor smithing and weaponsmithing by doing those. But I was doing lazy mode. So I would be like, nah, I'm not going to really. Here's a boar one. I'm not going to go hunt boars. And there we go. I've just cleared the board. Now, what's going to happen here is I would go down and get all the items I needed to fulfill these, okay? And then I would turn them in. And basically, it's going to become blank. A mission will appear soon, and if I went and did this one here, that would be blank too, and they would all be these grayed out screen. What's nice is every half hour the board gets refreshed. So what I did. After I got all that gold and then started doing this, I would then go out and cut green young trees to get green wood. So I'd spend a half hour just running around Everfall harvesting green wood. I wouldn't hit the mature trees. I would just hit the young trees and get the green wood. I would then spend about a half hour doing that, and then I would just post it on the auction house. And that would get me about 30, 40 gold right there. Just right there, because it would sell. And so that was replenishing what I was spending at the board. By the time you do that, the board's refreshed, and then you can pick and choose the delivery quests that you want to do. And let's say you happen to say, okay, I'm going to go do the chopping, and you get one of these explore quests that are like really next to town, and you're going to chop your way to that explore quest and chop your way back, get back to town, then hand it in. But you can, I'll tell you what, I was what, 22nd, 23rd level when I started the process, and I was 60 level within 2 days, just doing this. And by the time I got done, I had 15, 16,000 gold still. So I made money because I did a lot of that chopping and whatnot. Now, whatever you want to do in between the half hour is fine. Now, what some people will do is they'll be at Tarkis. Why limit yourself to one board? Why don't you just run down the Windsward and do that board during that half hour? And you could do that if that's what you want to do, because Windsworth is not that far away. So what you do is just go south, run the road down south, or you could pay to transport, but really, you put auto run on, maybe 8 minutes later you're in town. So I wouldn't spend Azeroth to travel, because right now they want me to spend 66. It's not worth it. Just run down the road. You got a half hour to burn, right? So then you go to Windsward, and you open their board and you do the same thing. You go to their auction house, buy whatever the delivery quests are, and maybe if there's an explore quest next to town. So just by running up and down that road from those two cities, you're going to get double. So you might be able to do 60 in a day if you did it that way. There are people that have told me that they place their camp, and I guess you can transport to your camp and the prime location of being able to hit 3 towns. But you know me, I just should be lazy mode. I never did the running up and down the road. The only time I ever went in the Windsward was to do the dungeon if people were asking me to do it, because by the time, within those 2 days, I was exponentially just leveling, and not, and wasn't getting my healing staff leveled, just my levels, because you got to take into account that your weapon needs to get leveled. So that's the other thing you can do in between the half hour with the board. I used to chop trees, but I would also kill anything that I could kill during that process with my life staff. And it didn't take me long to get my life staff to 20. It really didn't. Now, just a quick peek of my skills here. This is my focus right now, 279. It is what it is. I'm trying to keep my focus as high as I can, because I am a healer. And then if my weapon mastery, you'll see here, I got 20 in life staff. I got 19 in sword and board, sword and shield. I haven't spent much time in the other weapons yet. I will. Once I hit the 20 here, I might go rapier until that's 20. Right now, between the life staff and the sword and board, I'm really enjoying the game, just playing those two. My trade skills, here they are. They are what they are. I guess my harvesting and skinning is 200. My mining is almost 200. Logging is almost 200. Just the processing of those goods have got me into the 150s, average kind of thing. I haven't done much of the crafting, because I figured once I get all of this to 200s, I could go get what I needed for crafting. Or to be honest with you, I might not even do that, because for God's sakes, I got 15,000 gold just yesterday. I'd spent most of my money on buying items that are just sitting in my bank for future, for my crafting. So I spend money as much as I get it. But yesterday alone, I made about 15,000 gold just doing stuff in the world. Because at 60, you could pretty much go places. There's a place that I know of that you are guaranteed to make money, lots of money, and that's going to be for another video I'm going to do. You'll be like, boom, boom, how's he making so much money? Well, I'll do a video on that. My gear isn't the best. It is what it is. I wish it was better. I got to do some more running around, killing mobs. I guess they call it a watermark. I got to get that up so I can get better drops. But before I end my video, I do want you to see my house here. Here it is. It's in Everfall, obviously, because that's where most of my points are. And it's really, I've pretty much have maxed it out when it comes to some of the decorations. And what's upsetting me with New World is they limit you they limit. I don't care. They limit items in my house. Let's say you only can have 150 items. That's fine. But they should allow you to put as many of items as you want. Like for light fixtures, they only allow you so many light fixtures, and then they won't let you put any more in your house. So if I hit the B command, you'll see that Tarkis has a crap load of pumpkins he hasn't put out. Well, they won't let me put them in the house. So I'm going to have to buy a second house to be my Halloween house, I guess. And that's where those will go. Because this house, I've got all sorts of things in it. Look at that. It's really decked out. Got my trophies on the wall. Whoop. Oh, I hit a banister? What am I hitting there? Okay. Oh, it might be some lag. I put a bed outside here on the terrace. Might be getting some lag here. Wouldn't surprise me. And then the upstairs here, got my gravestone right here, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the best place to have your gravestone, right next to the bed. Got the dog here. He's in timeout. He was bad. I got the cannon protecting, saying, hey, you stay there. Yeah. So basically, I've got some good stuff in my house. I just do not like the fact that they limit you certain items. And I imagine they did that because of processing and game lag. Because if you filled your house with all illumination, I imagine that must be pretty hard on the server. So I think that might be why they limited it, but come on. And the way they do the house system, I'm not going to really get into it right in this video, because this video was about, getting easy levels. But it's like the way they do their house system in this game is ridiculous, just ridiculous. Could be another reason why your hardcore MMO players have left the server, because what they're hoping to do is do house decoration, storyline, which the game really doesn't have. So really house decoration is what they would have been able to do. And for the game to limit you on what you can do and how many items you can put in your house just was like, come on, guys. Think about arcades. Think about Black Desert Online. They did their house system perfect, and you guys couldn't take from them. Just like, it's not rocket science. It's a video game, guys. All right. Well, thank you for joining me.